The following segment is a mock debate produced for educational purposes only. The views expressed during the episode represent neither the official opinions of the Institute of International Relations and its researchers, nor the debate participants.
Hello everybody, I am Theoni Griva and I welcome you all to Podcast.IA, the podcast of the Center for Russia, Eurasia and Southeastern Europe of the Institute of International Relations. Today we have with us Pavlos Karagiannodimas.
Thank you so much for the invitation.
Panagiota Chatzilymperi.
Thank you very much for the invitation and I'm happy to see you all again.
Stamatina Somaraki.
Hello everyone.
And last but not least, Klimis Katsiavrias.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Together with them today, we are going to talk about the use of social media and how they helped or hindered the practice of foreign policy. We are going to talk about the use of the social media, not only from the citizens, but also from the politicians. Before we start our debate, we would like to reiterate that today's discussion is a mock debate produced for educational purposes. The views which will be shared later do not represent the official opinions of the Institute of International Relations and its researchers. Additionally, these views do not necessarily reflect the actual views of any of the debate participants. And now, let's go to round one. In this round, Team A will present their arguments first, followed by Team B. Each team has 3 minutes for their statement. The order of the teams has been decided by a coin toss. And with that, Pavlos, you may begin.
Thank you very much. The use of social media in the realm of international politics has become instrumental during the past decade with the advent of platforms like Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and more recently TikTok, and many more, truly, taking a more prevalent role in the communication between world leaders, but also normal people living their everyday lives. As a direct result of the popularization of social media, world leaders and skilled diplomats have begun adopting them into their public strategies, the efforts of diplomacy and good relations. Social media allows for them to be able to reach worldwide audiences for worldwide events the moment they happen. This has effectively reshaped the global scape and has demolished the traditional structures of how diplomacy used to exist in the past. While in the past, relations between nations existed formally through diplomatic methods, mostly embassies and ambassadors who were the ones responsible to convey and pass along the messages of world leaders from one to another, holding incredible power in the shaping of global events. Thanks to social media, and of course on a larger scale, the internet, communication between world leaders has become a more simplified process, and the power once held by ambassadors and diplomats has now shifted to governments and specifically to world leaders.
Thank you, Pavlos, for sharing with us your argument. And now, Panagiota, it's your turn.
Thank you very much. The establishment of social media was an innovation that led society down to new paths. We became more and more familiar with digital technology, and it became an integral part of our daily lives. For years, information technology was accused of isolating individuals from their social obligations. Social media gave a platform for everyone to express themselves in a public forum. However, this gives an illusion that there is participation in some kind of civic assembly. things are more complicated. The cyberspace can be used by regimes as a means of monitoring dissidents or promoting a particular agenda. In international relations, the footprint of social media abounds in examples such as the first, the organization of the Arab Spring through social networking platforms. Second example, the organization of activist actions. And the third example, the restriction of internet access by state authorities in order to control social actions and demonstrations, exemplified by the event in Kazakhstan in recent years. What should not be overlooked is that these platforms are private companies, the majority of which are based in the US, but in recent years there has been an increase in the establishment of such platforms for China, with TikTok being the most popular. The social media space has gone from being recreational to political, considering the creation of profiles by government agencies, supranational organizations, and political figures. So the public space was transferred from the civil community to a digital space, but the digital space is owned by private interests.
Thank you too, Panagiota, for sharing with us a really interesting point of view. And this concludes round one of our debate. Let us begin with round two. In this round, the order of the teams will be reversed, and we are going to begin with Team B. Klimis, you have the floor.
Thank you, Theoni. Indeed, the advent of social media has significantly transformed the landscape of international politics, and not all these transformations have been positive. Central to the concerns is the issue of fake news, or disinformation, a phenomenon amplified exponentially by the easy accessibility and reach of social media platforms. Social media provides a fertile ground for the rapid spread of disinformation campaigns that can destabilize societies, skew public opinion, and influence election outcomes. These misinformation campaigns are often sophisticated, capitalizing on existing biases, fears, and divisions within societies to drive wedges deeper, causing societal fragmentation. For example, the allegations of foreign interference in the 2016 United States presidential election brought the issue of fake news to the forefront of global discourse. Moreover, social media algorithms designed to keep users engaged on platforms for as long as possible can inadvertently create echo chambers and feed into confirmation biases. This means that users are often exposed to a limited range of ideas that reinforces their pre-existing beliefs and biases, thereby reducing opportunities for open and healthy debate. The result is a more polarized political landscape, both domestically and internationally. Furthermore, the anonymity provided by social media platforms enables the propagation of hate speech, cyberbullying, and vitriolic rhetoric in general. This environment fuels hostility, exacerbating tensions between different social, political, and national groups. It allows state and not state actors to wage troll wars or bot wars that can escalate political disagreements to dangerous levels of hostility. In essence, while social media has indeed democratized the dissemination of information and allowed for a more global interconnectivity, it has also brought with it the propagation of misinformation, the creation of echo chambers, and an escalation of hate speech. All these factors contribute to a more tense and polarized international political climate. As we navigate this digital age, it's incumbent upon us all, technologists, policymakers, educators, and users alike, to find ways to mitigate these negative effects and harness the positive potential of these powerful platforms.
Thank you, Clemens, also for your point of view and all the arguments you presented us. And now, Stamatina, it's your turn to continue.
Thank you, Theoni. With the advent of mass communications and the internet in the modern era, social media has rapidly transformed not only our social lives, but also political relations. On a global stage, political leaders and diplomats are increasingly using social media platforms to signal intentions and engage foreign counterparts. Crucially, beyond signaling political intentions, social media can construct effective platforms for dialogue, cooperation, and diplomacy by facilitating new processes of cultivating state identity and interstate recognition. Where opportunities for the traditional face-to-face diplomacy are limited, social media can become instrumental in opening dialogue and developing trust between states. Additionally, social media refers to websites and other internet applications that enable users to create and share content with other users, as well as to react to such content in various ways. As social media have become more accessible in terms of both internet access and ease of use, it has become one means by which people, non-state actors and governments can share their foreign policy priorities in an effort to receive feedback, engage in diplomacy, educate people, and attempt to influence foreign policy outcomes.
Thank you to Stamatina for all these arguments, which were really significant and awakening. And at this point, round 2 has now ended. And now we have reached the last part of our debate. Let's go now in round 3, in which each team has the opportunity to refute and respond to the other side's arguments. Pavlos, from Team A, you have 3 minutes in order to present us your own point of view.
Thank you very much, Theoni. I will be brief. It is important to recognize that thanks to social media, there has been a renaissance in the sector and realm of public relations. Since nowadays world leaders can affect not only their own citizens, but also the global community through the use of social media platforms, in mere minutes, they have become instrumental in the shaping of public relations and of foreign relations. A very good example being the foreign relations of the United States of America and the Democratic Republic of North Korea, which were largely affected by President Donald Trump's usage of Twitter in the manner. While this might seem like a negative example, in reality, it shows that governments have the ability to publicly communicate with one another through the usage of social media platforms for everyone, everywhere, at any time, to see what is happening and how global events are being shaped. Social media have allowed us to become part of history, and not only be part of it, but to understand when historic events truly take place.
Thank you, Pavlos, for your whole presentation. And now let's go to Team B, which will begin with Panagiota and then with Clemens.
Thank you very much, Theoni. The social media opened the Pandora's box. Clearly, it is necessary to establish certain rules in order to prevent the spread of hate speech, the perpetuation of stereotypes, and to protect the mental health of users and their personal data. But this must be done with caution, because it may lead to a new kind of regime of restriction of expression and censorship. So, to my colleague Clemens to conclude our arguments.
Thank you, Panagiota. An additional consideration I would like to bring to the forefront is how social media, in its quest for immediacy and brevity, often reduces complex political issues to simplistic narratives or sound bites. This erodes the depth and nuance of political discourse, making it difficult for users to fully understand the complexities of international relations and policies. As a result, oversimplification can foster reactionary political views and undermine the ability to build consensus around nuanced and balanced policies. This issue is exacerbated when you consider that for many, social media is the primary source of news, resulting in less informed and more polarized global citizenry.
Thank you both, Clemens and Panagiota, for your presentation too. And with that, round 3 and therefore our debate is over. We hope that our listeners have learned more about the use of social media and how it helps or hinders the practice of the foreign policy. The only sure thing is that social media have become an asset or not for the policy making. Thank you to all 4 of our debate participants for your arguments and presentation here. Pavlos, Karagiannodimas,
Thank you once again for the invitation in this wonderful podcast.
Panagiota Chatzilymperi,
Thank you very much for this interesting discussion.
Stamatina Somaraki,
Thank you once again.
and of course Klimis Katsiavrias.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak, and thank you for being such a great host.
And thank you all for tuning in. You can definitely find more about the Center of Russia, Eurasia and Southern Eastern Europe in the description box. Have a great day, and since it is our last episode, I will wish you all a great summer. See you soon.